Hey guys, Slim Brody here, and I just wanted to make a quick little video before the We Watched a Movie interview to kind of let you guys know what happened. So we actually did this interview a few weeks ago, and I wanted to get the video up immediately, but I've been having a lot of issues editing it, and it just does not look very good at all. We did it over Skype, and something happened, I'm not sure, but it just doesn't look great. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the audio, put my logo up, and I apologize, but this first one's going to be podcast style. So I hope you guys still enjoy it. Let me know what you think, and more videos will be out shortly. All right, hey everyone, welcome to my new channel. Slim Brody here. First ever video with the We Watched a Movie crew. Cannot believe it. First ever video, the two dopest dudes on. How you guys doing?
Awesome, man. Good times. Good times. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Like I said,
good.
my first ever video for you guys to join me, man. You guys do not understand how much I appreciate this. Like, it's unreal.
We're happy to be here, man. Thanks for having us.
No problem. Like I said, I just kind of want to, get into, the whole backstory of how you guys started. I mean, because personally, just watching you guys from the beginning and how much you've grown, like, it's just mind blowing. It really is. It's so awesome to see. And I feel like so many people want to create content, and you guys are just like, the perfect example of how you can do it and be successful.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
No
it only took us, 27 years, but yeah.
Better late than never,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like, just from the beginning. So, I mean, when it all started, I mean, when did you guys first decide, like, hey, we're going to create content? Was it just a conversation? Were you guys making, like, skits? Like, what, how did it start?
Jake, can take that one.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, Mike and I had always thought about making YouTube videos back in the summer of 1974. We were at a concert. We were like, fuck, man, it would be really cool. No, Mike and I had been friends for a long time, and we had played, there was a game called Halo Reach. We played the shit out of that game. We would talk, Xbox Live, we would talk. That's kind of how we reconnected after a long time. And I had started watching YouTube videos around that time, and I think I'd watched like a few PewDiePie videos and Cool Duder and other things like that. And I was like, hey, man, I think we could do that. Like, we had a really love for movies back in the day. Like, my brother and Mike and I used to watch like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and Steven Seagal stuff, and the horror. I was like, hey, man, we can make sketches and skits, and we just make each other laugh anyway. So let's fucking record it and do some cool stuff. And Mike was like, that sounds cool, but I think it's gonna suck, man. I'm like, that's the whole point. Let's fucking do it. And I mean, from there on, Mike was the fire under the ass to get it going, and ever since then, man, we just kept doing it. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. How I got going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. So I mean, like when you guys first started, I mean, obviously it doesn't happen overnight. So initially, what kind of feedback did you guys have at the beginning? I mean, was it slow starting? How was that process?
I'll never forget the first video I edited, which was a review for the Mark Wahlberg movie Contraband, which is like the terrible first video to do because nobody gave a shit about that. It was like the middle of winter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or something?
Yeah.
And but we did it, and we had this like $60 Kodak like underwater camera, and it was we spent like 2 hours setting up the room, and because it looked like shit no matter what we did. But I'll never forget that night when I got home and I was sitting there editing it, and I had no idea how to edit or what I was doing. And I used Windows Movie Maker, which is a free app that you could get. I don't think it exists anymore. That's how old we are. But and I did it, and I figured out how to edit, and I chopped the shit out of it. If you go back and watch it, it's terrible. It's just like hard edits and just terrible stuff, much like my editing today. But
No.
I'll never forget uploading it, man, and then just watching it and being like, this is weird. And it was so cool because like when you get like, it was like the next day it was like 4 views. I was like, dude, who the fuck are those 3 people that watch the video? Like, this is so
Mom,
weird.
Dad, and her fucking boyfriend. Oh my God.
It was a trip, man. But honestly, like for just starting it and having no idea what we were doing, everybody was super kind to us.
Yeah.
At least on the internet. Actually, people in our real lives, I feel like, were probably meaner to us about it than the internet, which is something you'll never hear. And nobody's super close to us, but be like, yeah. So you guys have a YouTube channel? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, cool, you're a loser.
Like, yeah,
thanks,
sure.
Get a job, fucker. I was like, I know.
So I mean, like when you guys first started, like I said, obviously nothing overnight. I mean, did you guys ever hit a point where you're like, this is not going to work out? It's too much work. We're not getting enough views. I mean, did you ever hit a snag or anything like that?
Not that much, man. I think we went through some personal stuff a couple times, and we had to take a break. And it was at an early point in the channel. I think the thing that was crazy about that though was that we just disappeared for like, I don't know, what do you think, like 2 months? Maybe?
Yeah, it was a little bit, yeah.
For a long time, and it wasn't because of anything to do with the channel. Like I said, it was just personal stuff, but it was crazy just the response that we got from people wondering where we were and all, because we weren't big enough to like make a video and be like, here's what happened. Like we're like, nobody's gonna give a shit. But when we came back, everybody was so cool about it. But really, we never thought about quitting. Maybe that makes us stupid.
No, yeah, never. Like, it was like, no, I think it was just so like into, like it was like even if a camera wasn't on, we would probably still fucking act shit out, like just for fun. Yeah. It's just like, hey man, we'll put it on the internet and keep going. Like I never once. I mean, there were times that we got like frustrated or something about like certain things that we were trying to do, and we would keep doing it. And it really wasn't doing anything. Like I don't know, like we would get snagged up on that sometimes, but. Overall, like it was just a joy to be around each other and do this and share it. And there were so many cool people out there that actually got it, that understood it, and that weren't concerned about being like, I don't know, fucking offended by every fart joke possible. And they were like, hey man, we'll just have a good time with it. We went going. So yeah.
Yeah. And there was not a lot of people watching at first either. It was a really slow growth. Like I said, we joke about it, but I think it's been just about 8 years now to get up to this point. And the thing is, it's not like we ever got a lot of track. We never got like a big shout out or anything. We did a video years later that kind of blew up a little bit back when videos could do that, and that helped us. Yeah. But I think we had an unfair advantage, whereas even if we didn't do the YouTube channel, we were going to hang out. So like, I think that's why we never thought about quitting when it took a long time, because we're like, we have to have a reason to hang out, So like,
yeah, regardless, you're going to be chilling anyway. So
yeah. But I think that's a good thing for people, like if they are just starting like yourself, if you don't have that excuse to do it anyways, I think, if I had been by myself doing it or Jay had been by himself and we didn't have to do it, maybe because we relied on each other so much and we knew each other relied on each other to do it. I think that's something good for if you're doing it yourself. It's a good sign to remember that, like, just fucking keep doing it, know, just keep doing it. Even if it sucks for a while, you'll find your way through it. I mean, don't, give up and super important. Don't like quit your job and be like, when you have like 10 subscribers or anything, or fuck it. If you can do it, do it. If you only have to provide for yourself and eat ramen noodles, just say, fuck it, go for it. But you know what I mean, but I think it's always good to just keep going and see what the hell happens.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of content creators now, I mean, it's sad. I see people on, YouTube, Twitter, people that are great and, the success isn't overnight and they just give up, it's not immediate. And I think that sucks. And like I said, that's why talking to you guys first, I think it's great, man. I mean, I've seen you guys persevere over time. It's just building and building. And like I said, I mean, it's inspirational. It really is, man. I mean, it's awesome stuff. And I mean, was there ever a point where when you got to, like I said, a certain video or something, you're like, we might have something special here. Like, we're building traction here. Like we really might have something. Like, was there ever a point, like I said, a certain video or a time?
I think we had the one video that was one of the first skits that we did. And it was actually, I think that might have been, it wasn't the first Michael Myers skit we did, because we put on the mask and did dumb shit. Because again, this was back in a time when nobody gave a shit about Michael Myers.
Yeah.
You can't say that. Everybody gave a shit. But like, we were trying to
now though.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We were trying to do everything, but we were always huge fans of Halloween. But we made the mistake of, instead of choosing something and going after that audience, we try to do everything. So, and that's what I tell people a lot of times when I talk to them. I'm like, figure out what you want to do. It's really hard to go and be like, I'm going to compete with every superhero channel and every action movie channel and every horror channel and like cover, because like, I mean, you're competing against huge sites that are like paying people thousands of dollars to make these videos. It's really hard to get out there if you're doing a whole bunch of stuff. What really changed for us was switching to horror. And it was after that Michael Myers video happened and people like that video blew up and we were like, what the shit? But we never really saw it as like, okay, let's keep doing these. We just kept doing what we were doing. I think the first time that we felt like we were really making a lot of headway was last Halloween, actually. Because like I said, we've been doing Halloween videos for a while, and then Halloween 2018 came out, and we covered it the same way we'd always covered Halloween before. But that year just, and we didn't even realize it when it happened, but looking back on it, shit just was going crazy that whole year and lead up to Halloween. And that was the first time we ever felt like, I don't know, shit was growing at an inordinate pace. Something we weren't used to. There goes my headphones.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, you're saying that, but I always feel like it was contraband. The first video that we did, using that fucking attic camera, the way you look like you're being like kidnapped in a basement somewhere that was grainy. No, but yeah, I agree. It was I guess it was the mind focus that, like you said, like you're trying to do everything at once, and it's really overwhelming. And you're like, man, there's so many other channels that are doing it, and they're doing it better than you, and they're always on point. They're always there first. And we live in Kentucky, and there's not like a lot of we're not in the epicenter, and that's for a lot of people. We're not in the epicenter of where the movie industry is, or if that's what you're going to do to get all that information or to be the first one on the scene. And so it was kind of like a switch to where we're like, we like horror movies a lot, and like let's just focus there, because not only is it's a cool genre, it's an awesome genre, but the community is so welcoming, and they're so nice, and they're so awesome, and there's so much like camaraderie amongst the horror community, much more so than like, and I'm not saying anything against like the comic book community or the action movie community or whatever, but it just feels like they're more accepting, and they're more like understanding, and they're like, because like if you make one mistake, if you're like reviewing a Marvel movie or a DC movie, they will fucking hunt you down and find out where you live and string you up. You're fucking dead.
Oh, but yeah, so true. Yeah. No, I feel, like I said, I mean, that's one thing too. It's funny that you say that, pick something and kind of stick with that. I remember from one of your live streams, I can't remember which one it was, a while back, and you guys have mentioned that, find your niche and stick with that. If it's fucking 80 slashers, if it's, paranormal, there's going to be an audience for that. And you can't try to outdo yourself or, cover too many things. And that really stuck with me. And I think that was a great message for anyone, like I said, going to create content. I mean, you really got to find your niche, and there's going to be an audience for it. There really is. So don't try to outdo yourself.
Even better if there's not an audience for it. I was talking to some people, and I'll change the job occupation from what it actually was. But I was out at a bar one night, and I was talking to some friends, and they all worked at the same place. We'll say that they worked at a Target. But they were like, yeah, man, we were thinking about, just in passing, they're like, we were thinking about starting a podcast or something, just like talking about like what happens, all the crazy stuff that happens during our job. But they were like, we know nobody will listen to that. I'm like, no, man, like that's perfect. That's so much smarter than so many people's ideas, because there might not be a billion people who work at Target or a million people who work at Target that would listen to that, but there might be 100,000 people that at some point that would listen to that. And not only that, but you're the only ones fucking doing it. So you can create a real connection with them, and you can go depth over width with them. Instead of trying to get everybody, you can get the people who you really matter to. And that's what, like you said, the horror community, man, they took us up and they put us on their back, and they took us exactly where we are.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and saying that, I mean, personally, I'm huge in like video games and the video game community. And I mean, just seeing the different spectrum as far as the acceptance or trying to create content or anything. And not saying anything bad about the video game community, but same thing, like you said, I mean, they will jump on you.
Oh, man.
I mean, and it kind of sucks with the horror community. I mean, my short time, I've never had anything like that. I really haven't. I mean, there's always going to be an asshole here or there, but majority of the time, people are super chill. I mean, they're super supportive. So
exactly,
I think I think, like I said, it definitely helps out. So, I mean, now that you guys 100,000 subscribers, which I think is just fucking, it's just like I said, watching from the beginning, it's fucking crazy, man. It's crazy. And it's so awesome. I mean, like, where do you go from here? Like, what's next? Is there another big step? Anything change? Or, I mean,
sell out as quickly as possible. No, I don't know, man. That's a great question. Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess just to keep doing what we've been doing. It's really nice to have the 100,000 marker be hit, and it's something that Mike and I talked about a long time ago. But it's still so surreal. The fact that the plaque is sitting right there, and to look at it and like, holy shit, that's fun. Because it was really just in a lot of ways, Mike and I were just making each other laugh and talking about movies and hanging out and being friends. And then there was this community that swelled around us, and that they were a part of it, and they became more than what we ever expected to be. And going into the future now, like, I guess it's going to stick with what we've been doing, and maybe try to, change some things up, maybe, give them, as far as like sketches and skits, try to, produce more of those and do some things like that. And then also just kind of expand more over what we want to do in the genre of horror, as far as like talking about the movies and doing these other sketches and skits and whatever. But yeah, man, like,
yeah, we started a secondary channel for the first time, and it's it's called Revenge of the Action Movie, and it's kind of fun to do it, man, because it's fun to put up a video, and it's not fun to do, but you get like it's like 40. I check on it after 20 minutes, like go to respond to the comments, and it's like, your video has 32 views, and I'm like, This feels. I'm more used to this.
That's
Yeah,
hot.
I'm more used to this. Like than I am where the other channel's done. Which is not doing anything crazy. It's not like we get hundreds of thousands of views every video. But I was more used to that. It's like, okay, this is fresh and new, and you can build on it. And but we're also starting. We started a website finally, just to WeWatchedMovie.com, and we're trying to make a media company out of this where we're not going to ever stop doing the channel, but we just want to reach out a little bit and start including podcasting and written news stories and stuff like that, and just have a central base where, fuck it, if we want to do a review of a chicken sandwich, we can, and it can be. And this kind of goes against exactly what we were just saying about pick your niche. But now at this point, I feel like we almost have a brand of like just how we are, like just we don't really give a shit. We care endlessly, but we're not trying to be we're not trying to be Disney, you know what I mean? We just want to, spread this out.
Serious,
Right.
Yeah, and start to maybe include some other people in it, whether it's podcasting or news articles and stuff like that, and just branch out a little bit and see how that can slowly grow as this has. So in the year 2059, that might work out.
Yeah, it's pretty much, it boils down to like what you're saying, like just do what you're passionate about, like whatever it is, like whatever specific, like your niche is your niche or your niche or whatever you want to call it. You're that's your thing. But then
if the Milwaukeeans called it the Hashi.
The Hashi. But if there's a video that you want to do, like if you want to make a 40-minute video on the fucking kazoo, how it's influenced your life, and like I don't know, like do it. Like it's awesome. Like I'll watch that shit probably. Like I don't know. Like but like it's exactly whatever you're passionate about, just do that video. Like if you have an urge for whatever reason to make this video, like you're doing video games, and if you want to go out and I know there's been a million videos do it, but you want to do a specific way to talk about like E.T., the Atari game that everybody talks about, but like why, maybe it was the greatest game in your life. Yeah. And you want to, list all the reasons why it was the greatest Atari game of all time. Like you're going to get a lot of hate, but people are like, this is interesting. I want to watch that shit because why does he, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So, and I mean, like I said, I'm into video games. I'm huge into like daily fantasy sports, DraftKings, a bunch of different avenues. So I see a lot of the content creating from different communities. And I think one thing, regardless of what you're doing, people want to come and see the content. If they want a movie review, they want to hear about the movie, sports, they want to know what players to play, but it's all about the entertainment factor.
Right.
And I mean, would you guys agree that that's probably the main drive why people come back and the subscribers?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's a cross between figuring out what you're good at doing. So I follow a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, and he completely changed my life. Like I love that guy so much. He has a YouTube channel too. But his whole thing is like when people ask him what they want to do, and I try to tell people this when we talk about it too. I'm like, just ask yourself if you could do anything you want to. I mean, anything. Nothing holding you back. Anything from the moment you wake up until the moment you can sleep, and do it fucking hard. And mean it.
Sex.
Yeah, obviously. But maybe apart from that. Or if you're good looking, maybe that.
Yeah,
hey,
whatever, yeah.
Never know.
What would that be? And answer that honestly for yourself. And then once you decide that and figure out what that is, then figure out what are you best at? Like, what are you naturally best at? Are you best at writing? Are you best at talking? Are you good on video? And then take that, pick whatever option that is, and then go after it. Go after it hard. And then not only will you be doing something you love naturally, but you'll be doing something you're good at from the get. And that's good because when you start out, no matter what you're doing, when you start out, you suck. And I think people get down on themselves because they start and they suck and they think I'm going to suck forever. And it's like, no, man, everybody sucks when they start. We still suck.
Fucking terrible.
But here we are.
Just with a lot more followers, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, now that, like I said, with all the success, I mean, I know you said with the media brain and everything, I mean, from the time you started now, I mean, has the end goal always to turn this into a career? I mean, I think everyone starts with that mindset, but is it kind of slowly turning to a reality, could you say?
Yeah, man. I hope, for me, I'm actually doing this full time right now. For the past few months, I have been. And that was due to a lot of other factors. I'm not living, providing totally for my family on my own with this. My wife had a change in careers, and I was working a job where I was working third shift and trying to do this channel at the same time. So I was like, it gave me medical issues and all sorts of shit. It was just a horrible mess for a good year there. but I got really lucky and I got a chance to, because it had gotten to the point where it was and other factors in my life, got to do that. So right now I am doing this full time, and the goal is for us both to be doing it full time eventually. And I think that's honestly, when you ask what the end goal for this whole thing is, it would just be, and I think a lot of people feel that way, it would just be to wake up in the morning and work really fucking hard on your terms. Like you can't go sit on a beach all day long. I don't think anybody can, unless you win the lottery or something. But if you're willing to wake up and you love the work more than the reward, then you fucking won, So in a way, I feel like we already have won a little bit, but we definitely do want to push that a little bit further.
Right on. I fucking agree.
Totally understand. I mean, one thing about it too, I don't think people realize until they dive into it, it's just the time it takes. I mean, even for a 5-minute video, a 10-minute video, filming, the editing, the post, I mean, just from start to end, I mean, can you dive a little bit into that? Just like the process and the time it takes?
Yeah, man. It's insane. Like for just a simple video, depending on what you do, it's all based on the content that you do. Like if you want to do something quick, if you only have so much time, you can do that. Like there's no reason for anybody to like, I'm going to wait until I have this schedule. I'm going to wait until I do this or till this thing's perfect. Don't do that. Whatever the fuck it is. If you only have a half an hour a day, start it. If you can only turn on your phone and turn on live and go live and start. Because like I said, you're going to suck for a long time. But yeah, man, depending on what you do, it can take every second of your day. It could
especially like when we first started, like back in the day, like we would set up lights and just try like to make the video look good. It took fucking 45 minutes, maybe sometimes, just to set up a video that was going to be like 10 minutes long. And then sometimes we would be stupid and forget to hit the record button and lose all the fucking content. Like, oh shit,
that happened a lot.
It's like, are you serious? It's like, you got to act like it's the first, if you have to redo the video, be like, all right, well, I can't remember everything I fucking said, but now I'm not going to be as interested in the video. I'm like, yeah, like I saw this movie and it was good, whatever, like something happened. It's like, you're bad. But yeah, it takes a lot. Yeah, it takes a lot of time, man. It takes a lot. And Mike's really like, he edits and he puts all this stuff together and he mixes. Like, there's a shit ton of things that you got to do from, conception and then actually production, which is a lot anyway. Like as far as like, yeah, I could go see a movie and that, but you got to set it up. You want it to make it look nice. You want the background to look good. You want all this other stuff to go good for you. And then after that, then you've got to edit it, mix it, make it really good, and then put it out there and promote it. It takes a bit. It's a lot of work, but in the end, if it's what you're passionate about and you like doing it and you love it and you want your message to be reached out and like have other people experience it, then it's worth it at the end. So it really doesn't matter how long it takes, I suppose.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. I agree. Well, like I said, man, just to wrap this all up, I mean, if you could just give a new content creator just one piece of advice, if you said just this is what you need to do, stick with this, like what would just one piece of advice be if you just had to pick one thing?
Go first.
Yeah. Lock box. I don't know, man. What I would say is that it's not going to be easy. There's going to be a lot of times that you're going to get down on yourself and it's going to suck and you're going to have a hard time maybe turning the camera on and doing it. You're not going to really sometimes always be motivated to do it, but deep down, if you want to do it and you want to keep doing it, you got to fight through those feelings and you got to wake up and you got to be like, I got to make this. I got to make this happen. I'm going to do the research. I'm going to try my best, and whatever happens, happens. Like, at least at the end of the day, if you fail, at least you tried. If you don't even try, then what the fuck were you even trying to accomplish? You know what I mean? So that's what I would say as if you're a new content creator, pick what you love, stick with it, and go from there. And that's, I think, at the end of the day, it's the end of the chapter on it. Like for me,
I'd say it's kind of a juxtapose of things, but I would say go really, really hard on yourself, but also be really, really easy on yourself in the bedroom and while you're doing this, because
no, that's true.
I think you're gonna have to try really, really, really hard, and I think you have to let go of the notion that depending on what you're doing, you have to let go of the notion initially that you're gonna become huge and you're gonna get all this stuff and about what comes at the end of it, because then you're just looking for the end goal. I want to sell this, or I want to make this money off of this, or I want to do whatever. It's all about, obviously it has to be something you really love doing. So I would say work really, 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 really fucking hard and have all the patience in the world, but don't be delusional. Don't believe in yourself, but don't be delusional. So try as hard as you can when you can. Be easy on yourself when it's not going well. If there's more you can do it. Fight to do it. But if you're doing your best and you're doing your best and it's sucking, just take a step back, don't hate yourself for it, and try to find out what's going wrong, and realize that it takes fucking time. People want to make you believe that the shit happens overnight, and it doesn't. So when it doesn't happen for you overnight, people are going to get hard on themselves, and they're going to feel like shit, and they're going to get down. But you just have to remember, man, that everybody started that way.
Right.
And I don't care what the hell anybody tells you, but 99.9% of the people started that way, and they sucked at first, and they had to figure their way. So that was like 10,000 little pieces of advice because I'm scatterbrained, but you know.
It's all good. Wrapped up into one. I mean, like I said, I mean, starting my own page, there's no one else I'd rather have as my first video, and I thought it was a great idea. I mean, just like I said, being with you guys from the beginning, seeing where you started to where you're at now, I mean, like I said, and I want other people to hear your story and kind of your process. I think it's super motivating. I mean, like I said, a lot of people, I've seen people ask you, on Twitter, how'd you start, blah, blah. So thought it'd be a good idea just to wrap it up, kind of get your thoughts and the whole story. So like I said,
can't believe this is your first one,
This is
man.
awesome, man.
Like,
You're fucking great.
This is your first thing, like the first
ever, man. First ever. Like
you're
I said.
good at this, man. This is awesome.
it's really,
you
really
did a
good.
great job.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I have my notes here. I've kind of processed, ran this through 1,000 times. So I almost feel like it's like robot mode. So
You killed
You
it.
did
dude.
awesome, man.
Killed it.
well, I appreciate it. Like I said, we watched a movie. Check them out if you haven't. If you haven't subscribed, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Go check them out. Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, all that. I appreciate the love and support. Thank you guys. Hey, I'll holler at you guys later. Maybe do this again.
And man, thank you so
Absolutely,
much for
man.
having us.
Thanks, buddy.
Awesome. All right. Take it easy.
You too, man.
Bye-bye.